So I was playing for my club team at the time. We were playing a league game and I was just at the bottom of a ruck. It was about the second or third minute of the game, pretty early. And in that split second, I ended up on my back and just a teammate unfortunately stood on my left eye and it perforated my eyeball. I made a decision when I was 17 that I wanted to go into the professional rugby route, and the day after I had my last exam, I went straight into the Leinster Academy. Played my first game for Leinster in 2009 against the Newport Gwent Dragons, and I was 19, so that would have been about 6 or 7 months after I got out of school, so I was really happy with how my progress was going. The vision went straight away in my eye, so obviously I knew that there was something drastically wrong. The doctors came on and just said, Ian, stay still, because the eye was slightly out. I had the operation straight away, and I stayed for a week in hospital. So I was originally told that a year out of doing basically no exercise, because you couldn't put too much pressure on the eye. From being someone who likes to be outdoors all the time to suddenly just being confined to your house or a room is pretty difficult. So through the recovery, going to hospital all the time and just getting regular checkups, I was able to be back with Leinster and played my first game 6 months after the initial injury. When I got back to playing, I had 50% vision, and that gradually got up to 70% during the year. I had a game for a Leinster development team against the Irish under-20s. About 15 minutes into that game, I just remembered that my vision started to get very, very cloudy, very blurry, which was not normal, wasn't the way it was previously. So I went to the hospital. They told me that a cataract had developed. It was 2 1.5-hour procedures to try to get rid of it. So I was, doing a bit of R&R, resting. It was during the summertime now, this was. And I was in Galway with my friends, and I was in a car. And I just remember looking up at the traffic lights and saw that I couldn't see the difference between a red and a green or whatever. Everything had happened in such a short space of time, so it was like coming to the end of a journey. So I remember the moment very well. The surgeon came in and said, I'm sorry that you've lost the vision in that eye completely. I was devastated, and the people around me were devastated. So, I took a bit of time off just to reflect on what I could do. And then I got a phone call via Leinster, because I was working with them at the time, to say, would you like to work in Italy? So I jumped at the opportunity. My job at Udine was an under-16s coach. I was also the technical director. And Udine is not a big rugby town in Italy, so for me it was sort of a perfect fit, because I just wanted to go somewhere that rugby wasn't a big thing, but yet I could, put my own imprint on it and just, help others. I think any sports person that doesn't get to choose when they stop is a real hurdle to try and get over. So for me, at the age of 21, feeling that I had so much more to give in the game was really difficult to take on board. I was very content in my job, but there was still something missing, and I was slightly depressed. So I always said that if I ever was going to go back to rugby, I wanted to play with some form of protection. So basically he got in touch with World Rugby, and there was a company here in Italy called Raleri, who are based in Bologna. They are the people who manufacture what's now known as rugby goggles.
Allora, le caratteristiche principali richieste a un occhiale per uno sport da contatto sono sicuramente la sicurezza, che non si traduce solo in termini di resistenza. In campo militare un occhiale deve essere sicuro per chi lo indossa, in campo sportivo deve essere sicuro anche per gli avversari.
So my first game was in March 2014, so that was 3 years after I initially had retired. Played for my club, which was Leonorso Rugby Udine, the lowest level of Italian rugby, so the standard was not fantastic. But for me, it was more important just to see how the goggles would work, to see if I was mentally in a good state, physically in a good state, to continue this possible journey. From there, I signed then for a team called Rugby Viadana, who play in the top 10 club competition in Italy, so I was there for a couple of years. I was known as a permit player for Zebre, so the other franchise. I played at home for Zebre against Leinster, and then was the first person to play in Ireland against Ulster with the goggles. So that was another huge milestone to be broken. And subsequently, because of that, then I think Benetton were happy with what they saw, and they signed me up, and I played all of last year, the 2016-17 season with them.
I think it takes someone incredibly brave to be able to go back onto a field with one eye. I think he's very tenacious. He's had a huge fight against many different factions and many different people to get to where he is now, and he just doesn't give up.
There's over 500 people in the world that are using these goggles, so that's, you know, adults and kids. And if people need them, I would like that number to grow. For me, I think it's important that this story be a positive one. That yes, an injury happened, but rugby has given me a life and has given me discipline, has given me life skills, which I think are invaluable. It's a physical sport. These goggles are just another little thing that can be added, and I just want that to be a positive feeling for everyone.